Alright, it is Roger with iGadgetGeek, and I have a quick little unboxing of the brand new Motorola Atrix 2 that just came out today. So let's go ahead and take a look. Of course, the box is pretty standard, what we've come to expect from AT&T. Not too concerned with the box. So of course, here is the phone. Now, I've had this out and played with it some already. Now basically, you don't get a whole lot with this phone. You're going to get the battery, the back cover, this USB cable, and your power block. Now, and that's pretty much all you get with it. None of the extra goodies. But this phone does sell for $99 with a 2-year contract. So that's definitely $100 cheaper than the original Atrix did. So for the money, $100, you can't really go wrong with a dual-core phone with a gig of RAM. So let's go ahead and just take a little quick look around. Now, this has changed quite a bit. No longer is it a 4-inch display. It is now a 4.3-inch display, and they've changed the manufacturer of the display. Now, I was never a real big fan of the original display on the original Atrix. It seemed a little grainy to me. Now, this display is much brighter and much clearer, in my opinion. Now, of course, you have your standard capacitive buttons at the bottom. You have your speaker, your forward-facing camera. Now on this side here, of course, you have your HDMI out and your micro USB for syncing. Then you have this band here. It feels like metal. I'm not 100% sure. Now the front, I haven't been able to find any specs online on whether or not this is Gorilla Glass. I'm not really sure. Now this may be plastic. I'm not really sure. It has kind of a bit of a bevel to it. So I'm going to have to do a little more research on whether or not this is truly Gorilla Glass or if they've gone with a little cheaper substitute to try to save a little bit of money. Of course, on this side you have your volume up and down and a dedicated camera button. And then on the very top, of course, you have your secondary mic, your headphone jack, and your on-off switch. They have done away with the fingerprint scanner. Now, mine only worked about half of the time anyway on my original Atrix, so I don't really care that they left that off. I think that was a good move. Now on the back you have an 8 megapixel camera as opposed to the 5. Now this will shoot in 1080p as well as 720p. Now here's your speaker. Now the back of this is kind of a soft touch rubbery coating on the whole back of the phone, which is really nice, so it should hold up, be somewhat scratch resistant. So now let's go ahead and take a look on the software itself. Now this comes preloaded with 2.3.5. Now as you can see here, I actually already have a live wallpaper running in the background. One of the nice things about this lock screen is you can silence it right here from the lock screen. And one of the other features, this phone out of the box came with the CRT off. So you can see here, when you turn it on, it's normal, but when you hit this button, watch how it goes off. It's the CRT that, if you're familiar with the MIUI ROM or a CM7 ROM, you've seen this feature. Looks like kind of like an old-time TV when it turns off. Now, of course, to unlock it, you just grab it here and slide it on out of the way. Now, as you can see here, I have my Halloween live wallpaper. This is actually Launcher Pro. So let's go ahead and go back to the standard launcher. And we'll go ahead and take a look now. This here is the standard launcher that it comes with. As you can see here, you have several different panes for everything. And you can kind of too, when you go to move something around, they kind of zoom out a little bit and you can move this different things around. I'm glad to see that we no longer have the Moto Blur. You actually have this stock launcher. I've played with it a little bit. It's not too bad of a launcher. I still prefer Launcher Pro as opposed to this launcher, just for the level of customization. But as you can see here, it does have a nice flow to it. It's very snappy, very quick, unlike, you know, Moto Blur launchers in the past that are not. But even if you decide to go with a secondary launcher, as you can see here, it is very fast and very snappy. That's thanks to the new dual-core 1 GHz processor with a gig of RAM. So we'll go ahead and go here to Settings, go to Applications, Manage, and we'll take a look at our running. So you can see here, just in using it, sitting around, we're using about 338 megabytes and I've got about 400 free. So by those figures there, we have about 750 megabytes available, accessible of the gig of RAM. Now to install applications, as you can see here, we have 4.3 gigabytes free. I have used 271. Now one of the nice features about this, out of the box, even without rooting it, you can go in there and remove a lot of those AT&T apps that nobody will ever use. Like the AT&T navigation, the family map, and all those AT&T bloatware that you're not going to use, you can actually, out of the box, remove those, like I have done. Here we go. Of course, Launcher Pro. If you're familiar with Launcher Pro, this is nothing new. Of course, this is fancy widgets. Let's go ahead and take a look at the drop-down menu. As you can see there, it is kind of already set to kind of a transparent. I kind of like the colors they've used out of stock. They look really nice. So you can see here you have your top bar. Of course, I'm on Wi-Fi. Now, one of the neat things it's done, let me go ahead and turn my Wi-Fi off, and we'll show you what it does. Now, instead of having H+, which I don't really, you're either going to love this or hate this, they've changed the H+ to the 4G. As you can see there, the little 4G with the up and down. There's no such thing as 4G in the US anyway, so do with that what you will. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. Of course, in settings, of course, you have your battery data management. You have your battery save mode. Down here, about phone. Go ahead and look here. See, it comes preloaded with Android version 2.3.5. Of course, there's all the other goodies, the web top. Now, I haven't hooked up the web top and played with it yet. I will probably do a video on that a little later, but you have a web top connector. As you can see here, no web top, so. One of the other things I noticed that I did not remember seeing on the stock Atrix, the original. Let me go ahead and show you that in the settings. Under settings here, if you go into HDMI, it actually has a overscan, adjust the viewable area that is displayed while the phone is mirrored on an HDMI display. So by that, it looks like you're going to be able to do HDMI mirroring straight out of the box. Now, I have not tested that. Maybe someone that has can shoot me a comment below and let me know if that does work. But that's just kind of been my little quick walkthrough, look around on the brand new Motorola Atrix 2. As we get some development going on this phone, I will bring you some more videos on the root and maybe some custom ROMs and custom kernels as those come available. This has been Roger with iGadgetGeek. Now I'm going to throw in just kind of a little bit of a size comparison. As you can see, here is my Infuse, which is the big, huge phone. If anyone's familiar, you've seen the Infuse, you've seen my videos. It is a huge phone. Now, it is in a case, but that just adds a little bit of width. So we'll take a look here as comparing it to the Atrix itself. So you can see here's the Atrix 4G. Now, it's only 0.2 inches smaller on screen size, but it is considerably smaller in height and width. And the thickness of them, they're about the same. The Infuse is a big, beautiful screen. I love the phone. I think it's great. But I must say the size of this is really nice. It has a very good build quality feel to it, and the size is perfect for in and out of your pocket. It's quite a bit smaller. So that kind of gives you, a size comparison. It'll give you kind of an idea of the size of it compared to other phones.